everybody will say it's just a job, it's just a job. And it is, but over time, it does become part of who you are. My name's Jennifer Rackley, and I am a child abuse and neglect lawyer and juvenile lawyer. I started out as a high school English teacher, and even though I was working in a really nice area, I still had a lot of kids coming in with unexplained bruises or looking or smelling like they haven't bathed in a long time, hadn't eaten, things like that. They'd come in and I would question what it was like at home. And so I eventually wanted to keep working with kids and help on that end instead of being in the classroom. At times I love my job, and at times my job is so hard. It ebbs and flows. I think my hardest days are when I represent a newborn baby who's born addicted to drugs. They're in the little incubators and they're all hooked up, and it's very upsetting to see them and to hear them, because normally it's always a joyous occasion to see a newborn, but to see a newborn who is in pain and not just crying to be fed but screeching for its next fix is a sound I'll never forget, and a sight I'll never forget. Am I able to separate the experiences and emotions I feel at work from my personal life? In the beginning, I did, and I thought it was necessary for me to have a life and for me to get through it. As I've gotten older, the more present I am at all times, whether I'm at work or at home, the better I am. The more I can handle things. I feel supported by the other people who do what I do, because we all understand what we're doing. What's difficult is the people who are so judgmental and they don't know what's going on. It can get difficult when people will just say, well, that person's a drug addict, they shouldn't even be allowed to have kids. And it's more complicated than that. I think a lot of times society in general, there is not a whole lot of sympathy even for children who live in poverty, so to speak. They didn't wake up one day and say, I'm going to be poor, I want to be poor. Nobody says, I think today I'll go turn myself into a drug addict. Nobody does that. And so I think a lot of times people can get really judgmental instead of slowing down and trying to be more compassionate and understanding. I believe that all people, actually most people, are good. And even though in this particular job we're faced with the worst the world has to offer, in general the world's a pretty nice place. My world is cops, first responders, lawyers like me, people in the NICUs or the emergency rooms, and it's this very small world that the rest of the world doesn't see. For a long time you'll say, well, you're not your job and you're not what you do, and that's true to a point. But trying to help others, for me now, I want that to be part of who I am.